Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I need to read on Iran and Syria. So, specifically, there was an airstrike against Iranian-backed sites and associated forces in Syria. And this was in retaliation for Iran launching small rockets. I would assume small, and damaging some property and injuring some soldiers, perhaps, but certainly a contractor, killing a contractor, some American kind of sites. So this is my understanding of it. So the retaliation ended up killing maybe 17 Syrians associated with Iran, I believe. But that's all really kind of ambiguous there. And, you know, we know that Syria has been a war-torn country. And we know this, and we know that many civilians have been involved in conflicts and different sides there. So I'm heartsick about it, okay? I'm just heartsick about it. So, is this... I want to read on, was this what Biden wanted? Is this what he believes is a commensurate kind of attack? What is the future going to hold with that? Okay, so let's look. Is this what Biden wanted? Okay, so he somehow is of the mindset that, and I do understand there are plenty of politicians, and Hillary felt this way too, that close tabs need to be kept on Iran. And I don't know all the history there, but so he obviously ascribes to that kind of way of thinking, sort of embattled, battle-weary, like, okay, yeah. I think the answer to this is yes. This is what he wanted. He thought it was necessary to send a clear message. Okay, let's see. The challenge. The Lover's card. Well, so the challenge could be maybe he's more concerned about, they may be more concerned about certain groups. And these would be groups that cross borders, I would assume. And they may be more concerned about, like, who these particular forces were in league with. Or that particular group, whatever unites them, they may have been quite concerned about that. The Lover's card sort of is, you know, in political readings, it's not about an affair, it's love, romantic love. It's about who are they in bed with. I hope that doesn't mean, you know, like I've said before, I'd like to believe that the U.S. government military actions that are taken have nothing to do with financial interests. I'd like to believe that. I don't have a lot of faith about that. So there's that. Because that can be about that too. And maybe there's a sense that they put it all in together, you know? Us versus them, we, they. Never good way of thinking about it. Page of coins underneath. He thought this would win more security. He thought this would win more security. Okay. Past is the Hierophant. Government. He was advised to do this. In other words, whoever he has installed in the relevant positions would have advised him to do that. Knight of Cups. Okay. So I heard one a host of a show, one of the news shows or opinion shows, saying that this is a little bit the stick and the carrot, so this is the carrot, right? So if that was the stick, this is the carrot, sort of like, but return to the bargaining table. We will, let's talk. Let's do another nuclear arms agreement. Okay, but with, yes, the stick is right, holding that big stick of, we have more military might. The world card in the immediate future. There is disapproval. I don't know. I haven't really watched the news about that, but I think there's great disapproval in the world. I think this has ripple effects in the world. See, everything in my gut, and I'm no politician. I have zero experience in the military, but everything in my gut, my intuition, my psychic ability tells me this is the wrong way to go about it. Violence begets more violence. Diplomacy begets more diplomacy. I mean, not that world leaders don't need to be tough and strong. They absolutely do, but I just feel like this has a ripple effect, and it doesn't improve matters. And then we have the Page of Cups. But there's a little bit of good news in the immediate future. You know what I think that is? I think that, frankly, there are a lot of things that many world leaders would be afraid to say to a U.S. president. They wouldn't want to say that. They wouldn't want to say, we disapprove. Four of Cups. Dissatisfaction at the root of the matter. Okay, so I feel like what happened then is Biden came in and saw that our control, the U.S. control in the region, had slipped since Obama's term. He felt like, Trump's attitude a lot of times was just out of sight, out of mind. In some ways that was good, in some ways that was bad, right? But I feel like Biden came in and was dissatisfied because some things are happening over there that wouldn't have happened under Obama's administration. Some bold kind of moves. But then again, oh gosh, I wish it's what meaning do you take from that? Do you think that's happening because the U.S. has allowed certain things to go unchecked, or do you think that may be happening because the relationship between the U.S. and folks over there has deteriorated, especially after Soleimani was assassinated, right, by Trump? The solution that comes to mind comes from where you identify the problem. I am not feeling this. I am not feeling this as a strategy that is all right by any means. I mean, I think there's a long-standing tradition of this kind of strategy with the big stick, but everything in my gut says it creates more harm than good. So we have the Four of Swords in the environmental effect. I think that's where he's at right now, sort of retreat. Like, okay, he's not talking about it too much, I think. Okay, Temperance Angel. He's hoping that gradually things will get better. The Queen of Wands for the outcome. Interesting. That's more Kamala. I wonder if she would have made a different decision there. Three of Cups. Well, he's got the support of Democratic lawmakers is what I'm seeing there. Seven of Coins. I wonder if Kamala is not liking this. I don't think she is. I think she has a little more of her hand on the pulse of the progressive movement here in the U.S. I don't think she's as loving it so much, neither do I think she would speak out against Biden in any way or be pushy in any way like that, but I think she sees it as making everybody less safe. I think she has a different opinion about this. Because it's like, okay, here we have Democrat lawmakers. Yes, President Biden, that's what you're supposed to have done, right? Not all of them. And then we have Kamala looking the other way, and she's looking at the less security. So I don't feel like there's regret in Biden. I don't feel that from these cards at all. I think he's a bit hawkish, a bit along the lines of, Hillary Clinton was a bit hawkish. So, yeah, I think it's, I am quite disappointed, actually. Everybody was so concerned that Trump was going to create a huge trouble over there with Iran by abandoning the deal. And, of course, the highest general killed. But here we have Biden doing this. So I think he's going to have to get the message. People are watching him just as closely. Anything for the future, Spirit. 7 of Wands. Okay, so he becomes less confident. That's standing your ground. He's highly criticized. He's very criticized for this decision. And now at this moment, I don't feel like I think he feels like he did the right thing, but I think that's going to be changing. I think he's going to have to realize that he's got to tap into what the voters want. He's got to tap in because a lot of the Democratic voters are much better informed now than they were 8 years ago, 5 years ago. They're much better informed. And the voters don't want this stuff over there. I think by and large the voters understand that the message needs to be made that you can't attack our troops. You absolutely cannot. But 17 deaths, the Chariot, okay, but things move ahead very quickly. So I don't like that, because that means to me that now there are some issues. Now there's some retaliation, perhaps. There's some issues, some more unrest over there. 10 of Cups, there we have the Republicans. See, I feel like Biden made a decision there that most of the Republicans would have liked, again, which makes you wonder, the family, that 10 of Cups, that's traditional establishment politicians who get reelected by huge campaign donations, with the help of huge campaign donations. I feel like, yes, they would serve a military-industrial complex, absolutely, and this is coming up regarding Biden's decision. So we have the 2 of Swords, but we have, do we go this way or that way? So there are a couple of incidents, and I don't feel like they're huge, but there are a couple of incidents that happen quickly. So look for those, and over there in the Middle East. And maybe they are targeting U.S. bases or equipment in Syria. Could very well be. But then that always runs the risk of wounding some of our soldiers. Wounding or killing some of our soldiers. So, okay, we got something going on there. There's going to be one decision to be made about that or another. It is time for something. What is that? The press is going to be right on this. It is time for more transparency in politics. That always comes up. More truth. A new era. A new era in governance. Yeah, I think, it's going to hit the fan for Biden. He's going to have to deal with how voters feel about this. And it's coming at him now, this coming week. And there are some touchy situations. And the press is going to be all over that. And what are you going to do, Biden? A decision is made. I feel like that is the agreement. There's even more reason to negotiate with Iran. and there's going to be some illusion peddled here. We're not going to get the full story. And we have the death card. And I feel like, actually, guys, I don't feel like that's death. I feel like that's the end of this skirmish, this cycle he's now set in motion. I think it actually puts him in a weaker bargaining place, ultimately. So I just think it's a mistake. I just think it's a mistake. You know, once in a while I do these readings, you guys, and I'm all heart, and I never want to see anybody hurt. And so once in a while I will get, a interpretation that suggests this was terrible, but there was a reason for it, kind of thing. That's not what I'm getting with this one. So I just think it was a complete misstep. A complete misstep. And I think he can learn from it, though. I do think he can learn from it. I hope. See, I've said it before. His greatest strength is he's got so many relationships in Washington, and his greatest weakness is he's got so many relationships in Washington. He's been there so long. He's sort of, he needs to make a new way in diplomacy. All right, does he do that? Maybe it's Kamala who does it. See, he's just a stability. Like, I don't feel like he does well with that, you guys. But then there's the justice card. He feels like he's backed by justice. And he feels constrained. He's listening to people who have done this a lot longer than he is. I feel like this is one of these situations where he's like, I listen to the experts. I listen to the people who know a lot more about this for a long time. I don't think he changes his approach too much. Maybe gets a little more cautious about making decisions like that. But Kamala, and I do think she works on him a little, and I do think she has a different idea about it. And she keeps it to herself. She does not agree with the powers that be, the powers that have been more hawkish, that have been more... She does not agree with that. She does not make an agreement with them. I do think she's president after he is, and I think that's when we may see some change. So we keep on contacting him. I'm actually getting off of this right now and sending a message, sending an email. So I hope you all have a terrific day. I don't see disaster from this, but I really wish I could see progress in these cards. So, not yet. But we can push it. See, we always can change the future. We can push it and push it. Well, thank you all so much. You take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.